Have you ever said something in a moment where you just weren't thinking, or you were saying something out of anger or some other intense emotion, and then later regretted it and really hated yourself for saying it and began to feel guilty and ashamed with yourself? I know I have. In this video, I'm going to explain to you why we experience guilt and shame, how you can overcome hanging on to it, and the role it plays in our spiritual growth. Hello friends, I'm Wendy Rapp, spiritual life coach and intuitive reader. On this channel, I help you as a spiritually awakened person grow and evolve on your soul's journey. So why do we experience guilt and shame? Well, guilt and shame usually arises when we do or say something that just isn't in alignment with who we want to be. We feel disappointed with ourselves because we're not honoring an internal value or code of behavior that is important to us. And then what happens with most people, and especially people who are spiritually awakened, when we're beginning to feel guilty for something we did or said, we begin to shame ourselves. We see ourselves as being a bad person. Oh my goodness, the divine is never going to work with me. I'm not meeting up to their expectations. How can I ever do this work if I can't be a nicer person? Stop. Just don't do that to yourselves. The fact that you even care, the fact that it bothers you, that you've hurt someone, even unintentionally, that we've hurt someone, and that you care enough to have it bother you, shows that in fact you are a very good person. You're experiencing those emotions of guilt and shame because you are a very loving soul, because it does bother you that you've hurt someone. People who experience guilt and shame tend to be much more empathetic and sympathetic people. So how can you release the feelings of guilt and shame? Well, the first thing is stop magnifying it in your head. Chances are pretty good that whatever you've said or done that you think was so terrible really isn't bothering that other person quite so much. So stop replaying it. It seems when we feel guilty about something or ashamed by something, we replay it and it gets worse and worse and worse each time. Stop replaying it in your head. And if it's a situation where you feel you may need to apologize to someone, don't put it off. Just do it. And what if that situation is not one where an apology to another person is called for? Then just show yourself some love and forgiveness. Whatever that situation was that's making you feel guilty or shame, just remind yourself that at that time, you did the best you could with what you knew. Show yourself compassion. As with all of our emotions, and the ones that we consider negative, guilt and shame are just emotions that the divine gave us to help us understand that we are out of alignment with our soul's intent. That's all it is, a message, a warning, so that we can bring ourselves back into alignment. If you carry guilt around and shame around, you're now putting yourself out of alignment with the divine. That's not the purpose of guilt and shame. Make it your intention next time to do better, and then just live in the moment. Forgive yourself and be compassionate with yourself. I hope those tips were helpful for you. Thank you so much for joining me here today. As always, remember you can link up with me on social media, and if you have a comment or a suggestion, please feel free to leave it in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can join me here every Sunday. I upload a new video every week, and I'd love to have you join me. As always, remember, you are a spark of the divine. Share your light with the world. Blessings.